Hi guys, it's Belle here and I'm back with day 20 of Shabby Creep 24. Please do check out all the links down below. There have been so many absolutely amazing makes by all the different creators taking part in this collaboration created by Release the Craftin. I will link all the creators taking part as well as my video that I did for my first prompt. But this is my second prompt, and this one is this old house. So I've just decided to go with a tag, and I came across this digital in my on my computer that I must have got a little while ago. It's the Particularly Odd Photos by Nick the Booksmith. I will link Nick down below, and I don't know if these are still available because I can't remember when I personally got them. I've been trying not to do too many digitals with makes lately because I know not everyone has access, but I couldn't find a photo that would fit. So I loved this one because it was a super creepy photo of this. I don't even know, like, why is everyone sitting so randomly on chairs? I mean, honestly, there was even more people. Look, right out in the middle, there's this child on a chair. Like, here's the rest of the family. Why is that child all the way out there? Like, does it smell? I mean, what is going on? So I wanted it to kind of fit with my first piece of ephemera. So I went again and took some Tim Holtz wallpaper, Halloween wallpaper, and I've distressed it with inks, ripped up the edges. It's all, I mean, you can see all the inks on the back, but because this was black, you can't see them as much on here, but there's more greens. I'm not going to go through how I did this because I did the similar technique for in my first video, so again, go check that out if you are interested. And I'm going to make this the kind of central piece because it's this old house. So first thing I'm going to do is work on this picture. I mean, honestly, this does really give me the creeps. Why is everyone just sitting there like that? I'm going to ink around the edge in some walnut stain. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the Ranger Distress crackle paste in translucent so that the image gets a crackle aged effect. So I'm going to do that now, and then that can be set off to the side. Let's start off with a smaller. Obviously, if you don't have crackle paste, one of the things you could do is, if you have like a crackly stamp like this one, I really like this one, so it's this crackle effect. You could use a permanent ink on the image, and then you could either use something like glossy accents over the top, or you could use like clear embossing powder, because if you've used a permanent ink pad, Toffee, then you know the ink won't lift up. I'm not great with using crackle paste, but we just want the general gist that this is a piece of glass. I'm going to lay that to the side because it needs to dry. It's a piece of glass that's all crackled and grunged, so that's going to need time to dry. Try and get this on properly. Hello, what is my problem there? Okay, so I need to put that over to the side because that's going to take quite a while to dry. So we've done that, and then so the next thing I want to do is I've cut a really large, tag shape. This is 4.5, actually 4 3/4 by just under 8, so it will fit in a journal, but you know. And then I've got some of this grungy kind of blue paper that I want to put on the back. So I'm just going to tear that. I want to leave a little bit of a border. So yeah, so this is going to go on the back. Like so. This would be so much easier if I had my guillotine to hand, but I don't. So yeah, I wanted it to kind of match. If you've seen my first prompt, it was kind of like a grungy wall inside the house, and I wanted this to be like another grungy wall inside the house that's owned by this creepy family. So that little house that you've seen on it, that's the house that we're looking at. That's what I'm going for. I'm going to kind of be hard to cut these. Like that. And their creepy family. I mean, seriously, why would you have a child sitting so far from the rest of the family? I mean, do they really hate that child? Is it like extended family? I mean, that's taking the extended bit a bit far, don't you think? Okay, and I am going to go around the edge, even though this is already lovely and grungy, in black soot. Because, you know, can't get enough of the creepy Shabby. It just fascinated me, that photo. I was looking for, like, I wanted a house. I was at first tempted to use one of the Tim Holtz vellum of the people. I've got it here. So I had this one that, oh, I'm so sorry. I had this one that I thought would work quite well, but I actually wanted a house. Because, you know, the prompt is this old house. Which just reminds me of the Shakin' Stevens song, which I'm not going to sing. One, because you guys don't need to hear my appalling singing voice. And two, I'm sure it's the Shakin' Stevens song. And two, you know, copyright. But yeah, it just reminded me of that. Which makes me laugh because it's not exactly creepy, that song. But there we are. So let's put this on the back. Let's see. Just kind of play around with it where I want it to go. And the reason I'm putting this on first is because I'm going to possibly stitch around this rather than this, because I want this on here, but I want it to like be able to be a bit bumpy and have all the rips, but I still want that stitching effect. I know, it's just like, why, Belle? So I think what I'm going to do is stitch around this in black, and then we'll get on to the front. Okay, so there we go. I've just stitched around that just to add that little bit of texture. And now what I want to do is, so I cut out 3 layers of black card. You can see that for this. This is going to be the photo frame, and I've glued them together to give them a bit more depth. And then I cut out a 4th layer and then trimmed out the middle. And my photo should sit really nicely in the middle, but I need to grunge this up a little bit. So the first thing is I really wanted to use my Tim Holtz vintage photo gloss. What's it called? Embossing glaze. But I cannot for the life of me find it. And I don't know why. So instead, I'm just going to use my vintage gold metallic wax, which is just starting to dry off, but I have had this so long, and I just want to add a little bit. I don't want it everywhere. I want some of the black to come through because I want it to look like this was once opulent, but that maybe, you know, time, bad investments, gambling scoundrels, drop in the stock market, whatever, has kind of left this house decaying, you know. It reminds me of all those stories of dukes or barons that would make all their money and then they'd pass it down to a son, and that son would be a bit of a wastrel because they'd they'd never really worked for anything, and then they'd go off gambling and have all sorts of vices, and then, you know, we're talking like 16th 17th century, and then like their children would be left with a house that was kind of falling apart and not as much money in the bank. So anyway, so you can see that that's gilded now, but it's not everywhere because I still want some of that black. And now I'm going to use, where has it gone to? I'm going to use some clear embossing powder because I can't find my glaze. Hold on, guys. I had my clear embossing powder and now I can't find it. So I'm going to use my clear embossing powder. It's just a cheap one. In fact, I'm almost out, you can see. Because I couldn't find my glaze. And I'm just going to dab. I mean, there is the Tim Holtz dabber and I do have it, but you know what? I still prefer using my Versamark pad, although this is quite an old pad and, you know, a bit grotty. And it doesn't matter if I miss any bits because I'll just go back in and do it again. So I'm going to cover that, make sure it's clear. I brought some white embossing powder recently, and because clear and white embossing powder is basically the same colour, I keep using the white one when I mean to use the clear one, and it's getting a bit annoying, even though they're labelled. That's just the way it is. Right, I'm going to put this away now because I haven't got a lot. And I am going to use a heat gun on this, but you guys don't need to hear that noise, so I will pause you whilst I do that. Now, I was thinking, does it need a second coat? But you know what? I don't think it does. I'm hoping you can see that. And it has this kind of mottled effect that I really like, and I think it will still stand out but also blend to the background. So I'm going to leave that to one side for a minute because I need it just to really make sure it's super cooled down before I start sticking it all together. And whilst we're waiting for that, I'm going to add this to my page, and I'm going to make sure that I've definitely got rips so that I know where they are, because I want that just like I did on the other one. But unlike the other one where I put I actually put like paper behind, I'm not doing that on this one. Look at the back of that. That's just as lovely and grungy as the front. Really going to make sure I get around those edges really well. All I've got in my head now, guys, whilst I'm doing this video, is that Shakin' Stevens song, but it's just the same chorus over and over, or the same bit of the song. This old house, do. Which is just making me laugh a little bit in my head. It's making me chuckle. Really getting these Tim Holtz wallpapers, the Halloween ones, well, all his wallpapers are super thick. You can hear that. I just love that noise as well. Right, now hopefully that should be enough glue. I'm going to stick this down. Let's get it all nice and flat. Try and get this stuck down. Yeah, I want my prompts to kind of all fit as if it's from the same house. Again, if you watch my first video, you'll realise that all mine are based or inspired by the journal, the October daily journal that I made to work on Pink Oddbirds prompts in 2022. So all these pieces could fit into that journal if I had space. But that's what it was all inspired by. I don't mind that some of this is bumpy. I don't even think it is bumpy. I think actually that it's the way the paper looks. Get that up so you can really see how distressed that paper is in places. Yeah, I just need to make sure the edges are really down well. I mean, I'm going to put fabric at the top, so that's okay. But for the other bits, make sure. And the great thing about the stitching is where some of the rips are, I can actually see the stitching underneath in places. So yeah, okay, so that's on there. This is now curled up completely, which, you know, obviously it would, and this has to be stuck to the actual frame so that it can go on in the middle. So I'm going to need a lot of glue on this to make sure that it really sticks down, because it has been embossed. Now, I could have glued it on there to begin with and then embossed it, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't get embossing in the middle, because that's where the photo is going to go. And again, if you use maybe an embossing pen, which I do have one of those too, you could get all these intricate details and not get in the middle. But this was just the easier way for me to do it. I mean, I'm not even being that careful with this. Thankfully, because it's embossed, the glue will just rub off the shiny surface on the other side. Yes, I know you can get fine tip nuzzles and all that kind of thing, but I'm working with what I've got, and, you know, this is what I'm doing. So I'm just going to get some of that excess off. And now's the really fun bit. Now's the trying to match it all up. Especially as I'm not looking exactly, because I'm filming. So I'm going to move that up a smidge. Thankfully the photo is going to go in the middle, or the image of the house is going to go in the middle. So I'm going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to use another sheet and just really, really press that down. Oh gosh, and now I've knocked it off the table. This is going really well today. And I've knocked the camera again. I'm telling you guys, I've got this new filming setup with this new table and everything, and I just can't seem to work out how to do it in a way that's working for me just yet. So I apologise for that. So that should be nice and glued. Yes. Look at that. So to me, it's got the shabby chic because of the beautiful florals on the wallpaper and the delicate filigree of the frame. So that's kind of the shabby chic, and then the creep aspect comes in because it's really grungy, and it's got the really creepy house thing, guys. Okay, so I want this on here. I'm just going to check the image. Yeah, that's still going to take a while. So I want that on here, and then I'm just thinking, should I stick it down now? I don't know. So I've got lots of bits and bobs that I want to use. So I've got this inked up and I'm thinking of embossing Spider, and I was thinking that would go really well at the top. Oh, I do love that, but I'm going to have to wait for the image first, because I'm just wondering if I should put some gold on it actually. The Spider's going to have to go slightly on top of the image, so we're going to have that. So this is wood, and I'm just going to touch this in certain places with the gold. I don't want it everywhere, I just want it in certain places. Okay, so we've got that, so let's put that to the side for the moment. Now let's play. So I have some flowers. I did ink this one with like 3 or 4 different colours of ink, because I was thinking the pink, but I really don't like it. So I've got these kind of greenish grey flowers, which I think work a lot better with the wallpaper. And they've got the gold in the middle, so I want to use those, but obviously not like that. I'm going to add some distress to the edges to really get that black and grungy look to them. Much better. It's only subtle, but it's there. This is going to go like this on there, and then I want this key hanging down, because again, it's a house, guys, so to me it makes sense that it's got to have a key on here. I've got all sorts of little bits and bobs in here, guys, that I was looking at, and we've got a couple of words. I thought I had a longer one somewhere. I do. I don't know if I prefer, so I've got the end. I've also got fright. I feel like I like the this one, but obviously it's more of a grey metal. So whilst we're at it, why not use some alcohol inks on here? I need my tweezers. So I have latte, so we'll see what this looks like on here, just in places. Yeah, if you don't have alcohol inks, this bit is not necessary. I just want it to look more like the rest, more grunged up. Can you see that? Can you even see it? I don't know. I think this light's awful. Ah! Nope, I do not want that on my table. That does look better. I do have a little bit of pistachio. I wonder if that will go on there at all. Would help if I could get the lid off, wouldn't it? Just because there's a little bit of green on the flowers. Now there's slightly too much pistachio on there, I think. No. I'm just going to add a smidge more of the latte. This is the thing with alcohol inks, you just keep playing until you get what you want. Okay. So I think that's okay. And that now has to go and sit to the side so that that can also dry. Ba-boom. Okay, so this is going to come back. That's going to hang down. So we need a chain. Where's my chain? There it is. So I need to cut this. I want that kind of hanging there, so we don't need too long a chain. And then another one. Right, so let's get a hoop, link, put that through there, and then this through there. Really, I need my other one. It's over there. Making sure that's pressed really well together. It's not how you do it. Use 2 pieces, but for now. And obviously I can't add the other one yet. Like that. But these will be here like so, with the key hanging down, and then the alcohol ink one hanging a little bit like that. And what I've also got to add the creep factor, I've got some of the bones, the Tim Holtz bones, and some already cut in half from a different project. Where's the other half cut one? And I'm thinking of adding those almost like you would have leaves, so they would be underneath and in places. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this down first, and then we will come back and do the other pieces. So that is all glued down now, and our image is dry. Let me get that right up so that you can see all the crackle on that. Now you can enhance the crackle. I'm going back over some of it with some of the walnut stain. You can enhance the bits between the crackle so that the crackle stands out more by putting ink or using like the Tim Holtz crayons or like watercolors, and it just enhances it that bit more. And that is now going to fit into here like so. Really need to get those corners down, although I suppose, well, I was going to say it wouldn't matter if it was sticking up a little bit, but it would, because it's got glass on top, so it wouldn't be sticking up a little bit with glass on top. It would just be the glass that is distressed. So let's just make sure, get any excess off of that, and let's get this glued down inside. Let's move it round. Need to make sure it's inside the bit that I cut out, because I want the image flush with the frame. I'm actually going to get a piece of paper and rub that, because I don't want to lift off any of that crackle paste, as it were. And so that is now in there. Oh, I love it. Love the effect. And whilst that's drying, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I am going to be getting some fabrics to put a tab and stitch a tab on top of this whilst we are waiting for that to really adhere to each other. So I think I just want some like lace. Love this lace. I actually used this lace on the other one too. So instead of a tab, I suppose I could just do like a fabric bit on the top. Let's have a look at how that looks. Because I love this frayed piece. So let's do that. Don't need it perfect. It's too much. Let's cut it down a little bit. Like so. possibly still a bit too much. And then we've got these kind of lace flowers. I'm wondering what one of those would look like, but you know what? I don't think I want it. I think I want more black lace. Because, of course I do. More black lace here. I've got another one and I can't seem to find it. Sorry, knocked you again. A little bit of sari silk because it's me. Like so. Across the top. And then maybe some, got some of this kind of grey cheesecloth. Maybe some of that. Hey, Toffee. I feel like I like that. So, I am going to go stitch that. And then this should be stuck down enough that we can start working on the other bit. Okay, so that's stitched. And I actually did 2 lines of stitching because I just like the way that looks. Now, I want to, first of all, this has worked so well. Try and get that like that. The colours on here, if you look at the colours here and with the flowers, these colours work so well together. Now I want to put the key and I want to put the chain, and it says the end. Dun 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 dun. But I've got nothing metal to kind of fit it to, so I'm just going to put a bit of hot glue. What toffs? Just going to put a bit of hot glue. I'm going to add, oh my gosh, the chain into there, into the glue, and then this chain into the glue, like so. And that should dry nicely. And then whilst that's kind of drying, I'm going to, remember I said we're going to add the spider to the top. I'm going to add the spider. And again, I'm wondering if I want to use hot glue because this is embossed. Now, it should be fine, but I've got the hot glue gun out. So let's just use, so sorry, that. I'm going to have to get this filming situation sorted out because it's bothering me that I keep knocking the camera. So these should be stuck down now. So we have movement and we have our spider up the top with our creepiness. Perfect. So we are going to add, I've got some leaves as well, and I'm going to just use some distress soot on the leaves. We are going to add the flowers and the bones. So again, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to probably add the flowers with some hot glue, and then I can stick the bones kind of around it. But before I do that, what toffs? I don't know why she's calling so much. I think I might just glue some leaves onto here, onto the bigger flower. Like so, before we stick the hot glue on. Like so. And then onto here as well. Okay. Then these will go something like that. Like so. Okay. And I've got to think about where I want to put the bones. And I'm thinking, like I said, of using the bones almost like extra leaves. And that one needs more. Again, the bones are a bit too white. So I'm going to just use some distress on them in places so that they're not as bright white. don't need the whole of that bone. I don't see the point in wasting them. Like, why waste the bottom bit of that bone when I don't need to? Okay, so let's get sticking things down. I'm going to put a flower here. Hot glue gun should be thingy. Put a flower there. And if I can get that bone under while that's still cooling. Like so. And then I'm going to put a little bit here on this one and stick more that end down. Oh dear. Stick that end down. And then let's put some hot glue on these. Let's try this one first. So that it sticks, and then more on this one. Like so. Stick that out. That glue came through there underneath, like so. Because, you know, if you've got an old house, especially one that's been passed down the ages, it's probably got bones or its own cemetery or something. And I wanted the bones. What, Toffee? So we've got these. Just having a look at what else we've got in here. I did have like a drop as well, but I think that's too big. Toff, come here, sweet girl. What's the matter? Some of these, but I don't think I need any of that. That's a bit much. It's a bit much. Don't want any more bones anywhere. Like in between them. No, I don't think so. Like so. I love the movement on there. Like so. Okay, so now what I want to add is a little bit of the grit paste, because again this will tie the two together and I love the effect of this. I'm going to apply it down here. Kind of up the wall like that. Honestly, I love this paste so much. I love the effect that it gives. You know, how it dries. Again, you don't have to do this. You could use just texture paste and like use an ink on it. If you don't have the crypt paste. So I want some down there. I'm definitely going to put some down the edge here. And I used this on my other piece again, so it's tying both pieces in. And the kind of theme of, you know, an old grotty house. I don't think I need more, but okay. Like so. Get that up. I love the black effect. And it will dry slightly different. I think I put the photo in at a slight angle, but you know, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm thinking I want a word or something for down here for when the grit paste dries. So I have, this is a Release the Crafting word, which says, even a white rose has a black shadow. And I kind of liked that, but I think it's too big. Honestly, I am so sorry that I keep hitting you. So I have some of the Tim Holtz words. What horrors they had seen. That seems quite fitting for that creepy. Haunted for life. I do kind of like the haunted for life. Vanishing visitors. Let's see what that would look like, even though I'd ink it. Like haunted for life. Maybe I could put some more cheesecloth behind it. Maybe. Let's ink this first because I need to know what I think. I'm using both inks on here, the Distress and the Walnut Stain. Let's see what I would think if I cut some cheesecloth and put it behind there. Not quite that much. I need a little bit. How would I like that? And then that down there. Actually, yes, I actually really like that. Yep. Okay, so that is stuck to that, but I feel like it's still too bright. Maybe it's just me. Okay, and I'm gonna, this isn't dry yet, so this will stick to this as well. I'm gonna put this down. So sorry. I was like, gotta get this filming thing sorted out. Haunted for life. Because, you know, this old house is haunted for these people. These dead, yucky peeps. Don't need as much of that as we've got. This will stick. It's just because it's got the paste there too. Now I was even thinking, do I want to put a bone up here? But I do think that's too much. Do I think that's too much? Do we think that's too much? Yes. Leave it, Belle. I think we'll just wait for this to dry. But I think this will be like the finished article. I might actually flick some black splatters on here as well. But we're going to wait for this to dry and then we'll come back and do any final touches to the piece. Okay, so the grit paste has dried and this is what I love about it. So you can see in the pot, it's this light grey, which you saw me apply. But when it dries, firstly, it picks up inks and that if you put inks behind. But look how grungy that now looks, guys. You can see it's picked up some ink, some of the black and brown that I'd actually used on the paper itself, because obviously Tim Holtz inks, they are water activated, so this is a wet medium, so when it goes on it can pick up these inks and just, I mean guys, doesn't that look deliciously grungy? And the texture of it, like all the bubbles and the black, I just, it's delicious. And I'm really loving the colours now that I've used on the two alcohol inks. The green on there just picks up the green in here. And then I use just the tiniest smidge of a green iridescent embossing gilding wax on the spider, just to bring in a little bit of green there. So basically, the front is done. But if you know anything about me, you know I love to also decorate the backs of things. So I've pulled out a Tim Holtz stencil kit. This is the, I'll just hold it up, so pause it there if you want to look at it. And I love this one because it's got 3 of my favourite stencils in it. They're all very gothic-y. And I actually want this script, I think, on here. So I'm going to use some of the Distress Black Soot. I do have like almost like a makeup brush to do this, but I don't have it to hand. So I'm just going to randomly put, okay, I need to press a bit harder. Do you know what the problem is? It's because I've got such a bulky front. So I need to press a tad harder just to randomly put some script. Love it. Oh my gosh, this script, I love using it in my Gothic journals. It just gives me that little vibe. Problem is with stenciling, when do you know when to stop? So loving that. Yes, loving it, loving it, loving it. You can obviously get the larger ones of these, I believe, but I've got the mini stencils. They're great for journals. And what I also want to do is I want to add a piece of foliage. I love adding things on the back. I was also wondering about one of these, like this ticket with this butterfly. I think I want to rip it a little bit, like so. And again, I'm going to really grunge that up a little bit. Even though it's on tea stained card and the ink I've used on it is a vintage sepia, I still want it grungier. I just love adding decoration. This is just a die cut and I'm going to use some of the walnut stain. I just love adding decoration to the back of tags. Again, to me, it just gives it a finished look. I don't do it to every single tag, but I'd say 8 times out of 10, I add decoration to the back of a tag because I just think it just finishes. It's almost like it's completed. It's if you like specialist books, like the special copy covers, they sometimes do sprayed edges, but they do the wrap around ones sometimes where the spraying fits in with the front and back cover. Oh my gosh, that is my favorite kind of edging, I just have to say. I've got this metal piece as well. I was wondering about that down there. Could be overkill, but I kind of like it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do all that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this down. Again, it's not easy because, let's use this glue first. This is bulky, you can see. Like, this is chunky. If I wasn't going to decorate the back, this would actually make a great cover piece for a journal, I think, because it's just so scrummy. But obviously I am decorating the back, so I need to get this glue to work. I think I had the lid off slightly, so I'm just going to open this up. Okay, so I swapped glues just for now, because I do think I had the lid off that glue slightly at an edge, or it's come off. I haven't put the lid on properly, and when I've put it away, maybe it's knocked the lid, or it could be the gazillion cats that are climbing like this one is right now. Topaz, you are putting shadow on the piece, which I know is adding to the whole vibe, you know, bringing that shadow, but also Mum was trying to film. So, excuse me, Topaz. She's going to tell me off in a minute. Go. Yeah, I know. You're annoyed. Oh, other cat people out there. You understand, our cats are kind of in control of us and they get a bit annoyed when we are not doing exactly what they want and giving them the attention they demand right there, because they're like, we don't demand attention all the time, so if we're demanding it, like, give me that attention. How dare you not give me that attention? Okay. Now I turned my glue gun off because I was waiting for this to dry. I need to flatten and make sure it's flat. This will dry, but it will need clipping on here, I think, to stay in place for the moment. So put the glue on, the lid on that one properly, so I don't have the problem that I'm having with the other glue. And let's put this down. Now this metal piece is actually quite flat, so there shouldn't be that many problems, and considering the front is as bulky as it is, like, there we go guys. So there's the back. I'm going to turn this. I'm hoping this doesn't fall off. I need to clamp it. And here is the front. So this is my tag for the prompt of this old house. I've got the end. It's the end of the family. Just look at that crackling and the embossing and the spider and the grunge. And this is my shabby creep. Yeah, for prompt 20. Love it. And I just want to show you. So I did the other one and I didn't show you how it dried on there either. Please do go check out the video for this one. But I do think they are a vibe. I've used the same lace, so they are going to tie in. We've got the same kind of grungy wallpaper. We've got a green kind of theme going on with a little bit of black, although this obviously has a lot more. And then I've brought in the leaves from here onto the back of here so that they can go with the other journal. But yeah, go check that one out because I didn't show you it dried in the video. And that's it. I will be back for one more prompt, so watch out for that. That'll be in about a week's time. I'm doing my final prompt for the Shabby Creep 24 challenge. Please do check out everyone else. Honestly, there has been some amazing makes, and I can't wait to have the time to actually play around with some of the ideas. Tomorrow, hop on over, because it's a channel hop from one to the next. It's a creepy spring channel hop. Hop on over to the wonderful Laurie at Terrific Tomes. I never know how to say it properly, Laurie, so I apologize, but pop on over to her channel. I will leave the link down below. I will leave the link to everyone down below, so go check those out if you haven't already. Don't forget, you can take part and do all the prompts. Don't forget to link people. Both use the hashtag ShabbyCreep24, which I will again leave down below, and link the person if you're having a go at one of their ideas. But that's it for now, guys. I really hope you like this. I love this. I love this tag. It's got so much yumminess that I love on it. And yeah, I'm really getting into the swing of this challenge now. So that's it for now, guys. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And what I would love to hear, let me know down below, why do you think they took this really random photo where they're all spread over a completely dry lawn with not a blade of grass and dead trees on these weird chairs with the child right off to the side? Let me know down below, because I would love to hear everyone's thoughts on that. But until next time, I hope you're having a wonderful, shabbily creepily crafty time. Bye for now, guys.